Right now, we are under a wind chill advisory as we're tracking the possibility of more heavy snow. Chris will tell us how soon we'll need to break out the shovel and boots again. And keeping your kids safe in the 21st century. Why police have a new warning for families living in an increasingly online world. Plus, Happy New Year Part 2. We'll tell you how you can bring in the Year of the Pig with some belated Chinese New Year festivities this weekend.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on the all-new News 3 Now this morning. Saturday, it is 5 in the morning on February 9th. I'm Josh Breiter with meteorologist Chris Reese. And I feel like a broken record, but here we go again. The cold and then the snow.
I know. New set, same weather pattern.
There we go.
That's essentially how things are waking up for us. We do have some wind chill advisories out there right now. Madison was actually dropped from those wind chill advisories recently, but as you work your way back towards the west and the north, those wind chill advisories do continue until we get you throughout noon today. In fact, wind chills around -2 right now here in town. But as you work your way towards the northwest, folks, you are talking wind chills as cold as -25 in some spots. And yes, it is even colder farther north and west from there. Low temperatures this morning have pretty much been anywhere from 0 towards -27 in some spots. So yes, there is a little bit of a range in temperature. Part of those colder temperatures has to do with a little bit deeper of a snowpack as you work your way up towards the north. But we are at -2 right now here in Madison. Winds out of the north and northwest at 3 miles per hour. Expect those temperatures to drop at least a little bit more as we go through the next hour or two. So we are not done yet, but temperatures will climb all the way into the upper teens today. Cloud cover will be on the increase as well. We are already focusing in on our next system, and it is gathering steam across the Pacific Northwest right now. In fact, they do have winter storm warnings, blizzard warnings, and winter weather advisories for a system that will be impacting us as we go through the middle of the week. Of course, I'll be breaking down how coming up in a few minutes.
All right, we will stay tuned to that, Chris. Thank you. Well, it is 5:02 this morning. Those below zero temperatures overnight certainly didn't help our already icy roads and sidewalks. This morning, we're passing along a reminder for Madison residents. You are required to make your sidewalk passable outside your home. Sand is suggested because with temperatures not getting out of the single or negative digits overnight, salt will not work. Madison residents typically have until noon the day after a storm to clear their sidewalks, but we're told that won't be enforced until crews can take care of city sidewalks. The city is offering free sand this weekend to help. Here's a list of free sand locations for those living on the east side. And now here's the list of free sand locations on the west side. And of course, we have these up on our website, channel3000.com. Again, due to the cold temperatures right now, salt will not be effective. Well, if you heard loud booming noises the last few nights, those are actually part of a lesser known weather phenomenon called ice quakes. It happens when water underground freezes and expands, but can it affect the foundations of our homes? News 3 Now asked the experts.
You have to be really unlucky to have foundation damage from an ice quake. And your foundation would already have to be close to, some point of giving way. And if it were at that state, then an ice quake, the shaking from an ice quake might cause a crack to grow larger or become visible.
Some people were also asking why they could hear the boom from the roof or the side of their homes if it was coming from the ground. We're told that if you have a low frequency inside your home, it could cause your roof to flex and make it sound like the roof is booming too. Now, some noises you are hearing could be coming from your home itself. The cold temperatures cause materials to contract, including wood, metal, and glass. Contractors say you shouldn't worry about the noises coming from these contractions, and they typically won't cause damage, but they do warn they could trigger security alarms if you have them. More local news now. If you're a parent, police want to remind you about the importance of talking to your kids about staying safe on the internet. The warning comes days after a missing teen from Tennessee was found in Madison. That teen reportedly met Brian Rogers through the online game Roblox and told him her father or adoptive father was sexually assaulting her. Police say Rogers told the girl to record the incident, then he drove to Tennessee to bring her to Wisconsin. Police say this kind of thing is why it's important to keep lines of communication open with your kids. Officers recommend asking them about their internet use often and monitoring the sites they're on. Parents, you are also advised to ask your kids for their social media passwords.
And so what we try to do is encourage parents to not be afraid of technology, to not run from it, and to actually educate themselves so that when their child comes to them with a problem, like you want them to do, you can at least offer some help or assistance in that.
Police say communication is also key when a child does do something they aren't supposed to on the internet, because it lets you reassure them that they can move past whatever might have happened. The State Patrol is putting out the call this morning for anyone interested in being a trooper, a pilot, a canine officer, or crash reconstruction expert. Applications are being accepted through the end of March. Anyone accepted into this recruitment class would start training this coming fall and graduate next spring. This comes at a time when police application numbers are down in Wisconsin and in other parts of, down in Madison rather, and in other parts of Wisconsin. If you're looking for more information, visit WISCpatroljobs.gov. You could soon see a new vehicle on crime scenes throughout the state. Attorney General Josh Kaul says that mobile lab will be based in Madison, housing equipment that forensic analysts and technicians can use when they respond to those crime scenes. That team primarily responds to assist with homicide investigations, officer-involved shootings, and autopsies. So far this year, that team has responded to 17 different scenes, putting in nearly 580 hours of work. The Lake Mills Police Department has announced it is starting a canine program, naming their first dog after a fallen firefighter. Captain Chris Truman was killed in a crash along the Beltline on New Year's Eve. The police department says they're in the early stages of fundraising to bring a drug and search dog to the community. They plan to name the canine Truman. You can donate at the Lake Mills Market. After months of fundraising, the Middleton Police Department now officially has its first ever canine. Officers posted a picture of Ziki to the department's Facebook page this week. He's a 1-year-old male shepherd mix from Europe. Over the next few months, Ziki and Officer Howard Stats will go through extensive training in Pennsylvania. Speaking of some heroic four-legged friends, a dog in Minnesota is being recognized for saving a life during last week's dangerous cold. Here is Midnight. She's a 4-year-old black lab mix from Alexandria, Minnesota. She was helping her human, Tim, take out the garbage last week when she sensed something was wrong next door. When Tim and Midnight investigated, they found their 87-year-old neighbor Noreen lying in the snow. She had fallen while trying to fill her bird feeder and couldn't get up. She had been outside for about a half hour before she was found.
We've been very proud of her because, it's not every dog that, pays attention to things like this. And she got so many treats, it was a shame.
Noreen didn't want to go on camera, but said Midnight definitely saved her in the nick of time. If you visit the city-county building in downtown, you might see a lot more four-legged friends roaming around there soon. The State Journal reports a new ordinance is going to allow Madison and Dane County employees working there to bring their dogs in with them. The change doesn't apply to the general public except for service animals. About half of more than 500 city employees who were surveyed supported that proposal. It's not yet clear when those workers will be able to start bringing in their pooches to the office. Well, get your spears sharpened. It's that time of the year again to catch yourself a massive prehistoric-looking fish. The forecast is sunny and a balmy 12 degrees on Lake Winnebago for the sturgeon season opener today. It's the site of one of the world's largest self-sustaining lake sturgeon populations. Due to the mild temperatures on and off the last couple months, the DNR hasn't been able to collect water quality data, but wardens are thinking it might not be so great. That hasn't stopped more than 12,000 people from buying licenses to spear on Lake Winnebago so far this year. The heaviest sturgeon harvested in Wisconsin last year weighed more than 155 pounds. Wow. The biggest was more than 7 feet long. Well, in case you needed something to celebrate with the family today, you can still ring in the Chinese New Year. 2019 is the year of the pig, which is a symbol of wealth in Chinese culture. Overseas, the New Year's Spring Festival starts off with firecrackers, followed by a day of blessings between neighbors. And according to Chinese tradition, it is also forbidden to clean on New Year's Day, or else you'll sweep away good fortune. On the UW-Madison campus, the Malaysian Students Association is hosting a celebration from 6 until 9 tonight in Ingram Hall. You can watch performances and sample Chinese food to ring in the new year with the family. Admission is free. The pig zodiac sign forecast has been trending on Twitter this week. There are 12 different zodiac signs that rotate each Chinese New Year, observed at the start of the new moon. So if you were born in 1995, 1983, 1971, and so on, you're not supposed to tempt your fate health-wise and be thoughtful when making high-risk investments. But in the dating world and career-wise, things are looking pretty good this year. It is 5:10 on the Saturday morning. From one forecast to another, we're in for another round of winter here in Wisconsin. Here's a live look outside right now as we wake up this morning. There's the state capitol. Chris is tracking the cold temperatures and more heavy snow behind them coming up. Thanks for watching the all-new News 3 Now This Morning, Saturday.
Well, we have added alert days to our forecast. We have an alert day coming in for Sunday. That's where we could see some snow developing. And then another alert day headed into Tuesday. Snow could develop once again. That one has the potential to bring several inches of snow accumulation to the area. But let's get started with the weather that's outside right now. The big story we've been talking is the wind chill. Of course, we do have more Arctic air in the picture. Wind chills right now doing a bit better here in Madison right now. The wind chill -2, but as you work your way up towards the north and west, 15 below zero is what it feels like towards Camp Douglas right now. 25 below zero near Black River Falls. And thankfully, things have gotten at least a little bit better. So we've been able to expire some of the wind chill advisories that we did have in the area. But as you work your way back towards the north and west, we do still have those wind chill advisories. Those are going to go through the rest of the morning. Here's a live look outside right now. Yes, it is dark. The temperature 2 degrees below zero, wind still coming out of the north north and northwest at 3 miles per hour. Thankfully, we do have that light wind in play. Temperatures elsewhere anywhere from about 0. Some folks are above 0 right now. Janesville at 3 above. -6 as you work your way up towards the Dells, and -15 in Camp Douglas right now. Temperatures still have a little bit of time to continue to drop, so we will drop off a couple more degrees. But we get a lot better, folks, as we go into the afternoon. Highs will be right around 17 degrees. But this Arctic high is going to keep that cold air in play. But what we're paying attention to are these two regions of low pressure bringing a winter storm to the west right now. These are going to come together to form one region of low pressure with cold air supplying that, tracking towards the south and towards the Great Lakes. That, my friends, is a low pressure track that often brings chances of wintry weather around here. We've got a couple as we go through the next couple of days. Temperatures will top out in the upper teens today. That cloud cover increases. Here we are at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We should see some light snow beginning to move into the area, really picking up by about noon over all of us. Now, that gets out of here quickly by Sunday night. We'll see anywhere from about 1 to 3, maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow from that. Here comes the next system Monday afternoon. Watch how long this lasts. We get a little bit of sleet and snow or freezing rain mixing in as well, going back over to a period of heavy snow by Tuesday night, and that will not wrap up until we get you into early Wednesday morning. So that could be a very long duration system. Of course, we're going to be tracking that, but there are more chances for this as well. Alert days Tuesday and Wednesday, and then keeping the alert day chances around. Well, no alert days yet, but we may have to declare one for Friday into Saturday with how that system is looking as of now. So we are certainly in an active weather pattern, Josh.
I feel like we were so spoiled for such a long time that also it was like boom, 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 boom.
Hey, at least we warmed up from being, -30 at this point. So it could be worse.
Got to be positive.
That's exactly.
All
sir.
right, Chris, thank you.
Anytime.
Well, it is 5:16 right now, so the weather might not feel like it at all this morning, but for the Brewers, it's almost spring. Pitchers and catchers report to spring training camp in just 3 days, and the first full squad workout is a little more than a week away. The final loads of all the Brewers gear were carried out onto equipment trucks earlier this week and headed to Arizona. Don't worry, the sausages were there to help with the heavy lifting, obviously. If a disappointing year on the field wasn't enough, the Packers are now catching some flack for what some are calling a lackluster performance on social media. Following the Super Bowl, the website Complex Sports ranked the Twitter accounts for all 32 NFL teams and said the Packers have the third worst Twitter account in the entire league. According to the site, the Packers' biggest offense on social media is being just plain boring, with the team rarely tweeting out anything other than news. The LA Chargers took the top spot, and the Chicago Bears were ranked second. More local news now. There's some good news for Badgers fans this morning. We're a little more than 200 days away from the 2019 football season, and the Badgers have released their upcoming schedule. It will kick off Friday, August 30th on the road in Tampa against the University of South Florida. Wisconsin will then have a five home game stretch against Central Michigan, Michigan, Northwestern, Kent State, and Michigan State. The final game of the Badgers' regular season will be at Minnesota as they battle the Gophers for Paul Bunyan's axe. And there's some good news for some former Badgers, too. 8 former UW football players have been invited to the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis later this month. There are 338 players in the Combine. The 8 Badgers joining them are David Edwards, Bo Benshaw, Ryan Connolly, Michael Dieter, Dakota Dixon, TJ Edwards, and Alec Ingold, and Andrew Van Ginkel. The Combine begins February 26th. And just announced this week, Baseball Hall of Famer John Schmoltz will play in the American Family Championship at University Ridge in June. Schmoltz earned a sponsor's exemption to play in the AmFam. Schmoltz is a pretty good golfer. He qualified for the U.S. Senior Open last year. He was also elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2015 after a 21-year career mostly with the Atlanta Braves. He won 211 games and had 154 saves. 5:19 this morning, a new movie perfect for kids of all ages proves just like beauty, ugly is also in the eye of the beholder. And we have several shows and movies for you, giving you the excuse to stay inside this weekend. Will has 3 things to watch on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday.
We do still have wind chill advisories, mainly for areas north and west of Madison. Madison has since been dropped from the wind chill advisory, but still wind chills will get better as we go throughout the day. Still below zero, but we'll see them top out in the single digits this afternoon. Actual air temperature should be about 10 degrees warmer. In fact, air temperatures right now still on the cold side at -2. But here's the deal. Going throughout the morning, we'll see those temperatures warm up to about 10 degrees. Left a negative in front of that, but that's okay. We've had a lot of them lately. By highs this afternoon, expect them to be right around 17.
All right, Chris, thank you. It is 5:23 right now. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow is coming to Netflix, but probably not in the way you expect. The Oscar winner's company, Goop, is teaming with the streaming service to produce 30-minute documentaries that Paltrow will host. Topics will cover everything from spiritual wellness to beauty tips. Goop will also provide podcasts to Delta Airlines flights. Some of the biggest names in music are teaming up for a new movie with a really good message. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder in the upcoming animated film Ugly Dolls. It's the story of what it's like to live in Uglyville, where weird is normal, then being forced to go beyond comfortable borders. Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Nick Jonas all voice characters in the film, hitting theaters this May. And of course, we wouldn't want you to have to wait to watch something good this weekend. Here's Will Loper with 3 things to watch.
I'm not armed! Journalist!
Newly arrived on home video this week is A Private War.
Where did you get that eye patch?
Treasure Island.
Rosamund Pike stars in the real-life story of a journalist reporting from the front lines of war.
War is not so terrible for governments, for they are not wounded or killed like ordinary people. Our mission is to speak the truth to power. You're prepared to sink your country into civil war.
What happened?
They've opened fire on journalists. If the government catches you, they'll kill you.
A Private War is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
No one in their right mind would do what you do.
We're heading on the end of the line. There ain't many people from here left. The neutrals took over.
Also new on home video this week is rodents of unusual size.
So I've done everything there is for survival. I'm born to die, so I'm gonna get all the gusto out of this little body that I got.
A fisherman faces hordes of giant rats from South America that breed faster than they can be controlled.
I love it when I nail them.
Neutrals is a real threat to the whole country.
Rodents of unusual size is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
You ever heard of neutral holler?
People needn't worry so much. It's not my time yet. This is not an hour ago.
Really?
Truly, I saw it in the eye.
The old lady by the swamp?
She was a witch.
No, she was old, probably senile.
I saw my death in that eye, and this isn't how it happened.
So how does it happen?
Surprise ending. Wouldn't want to ruin it for you.
Finally, pay tribute to the great actor Albert Finney, who passed away this last Thursday, by watching one of his finest performances in 2003's Big Fish.
What do you want, Will? Who do you want me to be?
Just yourself. Good, bad, everything. Just show me who you are for once.
Finney plays an old man who tells stories of his life filled with magic and wonder, which his son is not able to determine if those stories are real, made up, or just exaggerations.
They say when you meet the love of your life, time stops. And that's true. Your mother was never supposed to marry me. She was engaged to somebody else.
Forget it, kid. Don't waste your time. She's out of your league. You don't even know me.
Big Fish is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
See, most men, they'll tell you stories straight through. It won't be complicated. It won't be interesting either.
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch. This is Will Loper for News 3 Now this morning.
It is 5:27 and we've got more local news ahead, including the job opportunities for anyone looking to work for the state. And from out of business to back in business, we'll tell you about the local closings and openings happening this month across southern Wisconsin and how they may impact your next trip to the mall. The news is back in the morning on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday. Right now, brewing great coffee and
from the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
good morning and welcome to the weekend. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday, February 9th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese is talking cold and more snow in his first alert weather. But first, here are some of the stories we're following this morning. We begin with a reminder for Madison residents. You are required to make your sidewalk passable outside your home as temperatures stay in the single and negative digits. Officials suggest sand because in these conditions, salt will not work. You typically have until noon the day after a storm to clear your sidewalks, but we're told that won't be enforced until crews can take care of the city's sidewalks. You can get sand for free, and we have a list of pickup locations on the Channel 3000 mobile app. The State Patrol is putting out the call this morning for anyone interested in being a trooper, a pilot, a K-9 officer, or crash reconstruction expert. Applications are being accepted through the end of March. Anyone accepted into this recruitment class would start training this coming fall and graduate next spring. You could soon see a new vehicle on crime scenes throughout the state. Attorney General Josh Kaul says that mobile lab will be based in Madison, housing equipment that forensic analysts and technicians can use when they respond to those scenes. That team primarily responds to assist with homicide investigations, officer-involved shootings, and autopsies. So far this year, that team has responded to 17 different scenes, putting in nearly 580 hours of work. Well, it's never too late to ring in the new year, the Chinese New Year, that is. 2019 is the year of the pig, which is a symbol of wealth in Chinese culture. Overseas, the New Year's Spring Festival starts off with firecrackers, followed by a day of blessings between neighbors. Over on the UW-Madison campus, the Malaysian Students Association is hosting a celebration from 6 until 9 o'clock tonight at Ingram Hall. Admission is free. It is 5:33 this morning and another frigid morning out there, Chris.
Yeah, that's right, Josh. We even still have some wind chill advisories for some spots across the area. Thankfully, things have gotten better for us here in Madison, so we've been able to drop from those wind chill advisories. But folks, you work your way towards the north and west, you still have those wind chill advisories going at least until about 9 o'clock this morning. Some of those wind chills are as cold as 15 to 25 degrees below zero. Here in Madison right now, the wind chill 2 degrees below zero, 3 above zero as you work your way towards Janesville. No wind along with warming temperatures is helping things feel very good for our friends out there. Lows this morning are also fairly chilly. -2 the low so far here in Madison. -10 the low in Watoma. Black River Falls made it all the way towards -27. And that -2 low that we do have here in Madison, that is our air temperature right now as we speak. But as we go through the next 12 hours, expect those temperatures to come up and come up pretty well. We're going to top out right around 17 degrees today. But what we're tracking right now is the next system already starting to bring snow to places or to parts of the Pacific Northwest, along with the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. This is also, folks, where we are seeing winter storm warnings, blizzard warnings, and winter weather advisories. And this system will have perhaps a pretty big impact on us by the time we get you through Monday night and through Wednesday morning. I'll be breaking down all of the details on that coming up.
Chris, thank you. It is 5:34. Rising concerns about an apartment building designed for homeless families is prompting action by the city of Madison. Police records show they've been called to Tree Lane Apartments nearly 400 times since the building opened in June, with dozens of disturbance calls and a few battery and weapons offenses included among those calls. Neighboring residents and businesses have been telling the city they've had enough. Mayor Paul Soglin asked the city attorney's office to send a chronic nuisance premises declaration to Heartland Housing, the Chicago-based owner of that complex.
Heartland has come to the table and has met with us, but we wanted to be more assertive in terms of coming up with an abatement plan that we think will really address the issues.
When asked for comment this week, Heartland Housing says they haven't received any notice from the city, but in a statement, the property owner says he's expanded hours of security at their sites. More local news now. If Charlotte Russe is one of your shopping stops for your teenage daughter, you'll want to head to the Madison location for one final trip soon. That is one of 100 stores closing in the near future. The company has been on the verge of bankruptcy for years, though. It's planning on keeping another 400 locations open, and if you can still shop online as well. The Madison location inside the Easttown Mall and the stores in Brookfield and Glendale are all set to close. There's no word yet on when that will happen. The Janesville Mall is losing its Yankee Candle store. A Texas firm that owns the mall confirmed the closure to the Janesville Gazette this week. Signs are popping up for 75% off some items, and receipts are all being marked all sales final. It's not clear when the closure will happen, but a flyer is offering promotions at other locations, including the Madison store, starting February 26th. Well, Shopko is more than doubling the number of stores it will close during bankruptcy proceedings, including a couple in our area. An updated list on the Green Bay-based company's website says almost 70% of its locations will shut down. That's 251 stores versus the original 100 it had announced. The list includes 42 stores in Wisconsin, with both locations in Madison and Monona closing this spring. There are currently 360 stores open in more than 24 states. An hour south of Chicago, a small coffee shop is getting national attention for more than its cups of joe. Meg Oliver shows us this Java joint serving up great coffee and acts of kindness.
On this corner in Crown Point, Indiana, sits a cafe at the heart of the community. Every day at Cafe Fresco, a small staff bustles behind the counter, brewing coffee and inspiration with handwritten encouragement on its cup sleeves.
Yes. Do you have a favorite?
I think this one, the believe there is good in the world, be the good.
Some might say 31-year-old Brienne Zolfo is better than good. The former nanny opened this coffee house 6 years ago and on a whim started writing the uplifting messages for customers.
Well, I just hope that it would add some positive light to their day.
Customer reaction was overwhelming, so much that she took it further.
Just have to go drop change in a Salvation Army jar and film it.
Challenging them to perform good deeds for a free cup of joe.
Pay for someone's coffee, donate clothes to a homeless shelter.
So how many free cups of coffee have you given out?
Oh, thousands and thousands.
Is that such a good business plan?
I mean, I feel like if you're spreading positivity, people want to be a part of positivity, good people helping good people.
The fabric of Crown Point is tightly knit, and for Zolfo, serving that community goes well beyond the walls of her cafe. Instead of pocketing the cash from the store's tip jar, she pays it forward every month.
Hello, how are you?
On this day, she uses the money to surprise shoppers at a nearby supermarket.
Have a good day.
What just happened?
We just paid for your groceries.
What'd you do that for?
You gotta spread positivity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Give me a hug. Both guys.
Of course.
Thank you.
Have people come to thank you?
Yeah.
What's that like?
We had this one person that he was homeless, and we had bought a bike for him. And he came back 2 years later after we had purchased the bike for him, and he said, "You don't know how much you've changed my life. Because you bought me a bike, I got a job, and I got an apartment." And so even talking about it makes me cry.
And how has this changed the community?
I hope that it spread positivity throughout, not just this community, but other communities that are around us. For us to play a small part in a lot of people's lives is the most amazing feeling.
It's a Java-inspired boost the entire community of Crown Point can rally behind.
Come on, man, everybody. All right. Count of three. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
Meg Oliver, Crown Point, Indiana.
In the words of Ellen DeGeneres, be kind to one another. Looking for something to do this weekend? We've got some ideas for you. All 4 of our picks this week are perfect for the whole family and include music, dancing, and oh yeah, the circus is in town. Your Weekend 608 is straight ahead on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday. Welcome back at 5:43. It is the weekend in the 6-0 way.
And here's what's going on around town.
All these events are perfect for kids and adults, so let's get started with the circus. An all-ages cast of aerial acrobats, trapezes, stilt walkers, unicycle riders, jugglers, magicians, and clowns will entertain audiences for the Wild Rumpus Winter Circus both today and tomorrow. The Goodman Community Center will host 3 family-friendly shows, today at 2 and 7 and tomorrow at 2.
The next act comes all the way from Lake Geneva. Husband and wife act Magic Morgan and Liliana are returning to the Overture Center for February's Kids on the Rotunda stage. They are 2 winners of the World Deaf Magician Award, and their act features magic, mime, and comedy. The performances are free. They take place at 9, 11, or 1 o'clock today, and the 1 p.m. show is American Sign Language Interpreted.
Tomorrow from 1 to 5 is the 18th Annual United Way Bluegrass Festival. 5 acts will gather at the Barrymore Theater. The Old Tin Can String Band, Sortin' the Mail, Dave Landau, Mad Fiddle, and Highway 151 and Squirrel Gravy. All proceeds benefit the United Way of Dane County. Quite the names there.
I know, it really is. Finally, whether you're Norwegian or not, you are welcome in Stoughton on Sunday for a Norse afternoon of fun. Audience participation is encouraged at the 1:30 p.m. show taking place in the Stoughton High School gym. The Stoughton Norwegian Dancers, a talented performance group in traditional dress, puts on this energetic annual show for a hometown audience to help you appreciate the traditional Scandinavian folk dance. Children under 10 wearing traditional Norwegian costume will get in for free.
And as always, you can pick up a copy of this month's Madison magazine for all of the best in the Madison area. It is 5:44 right now, and we are once again waking up frozen in southern Wisconsin before our next winter storm. Here's a live look outside as we wake up on this Saturday. Chris will have your updated first alert forecast just ahead. But first, it is February 9th. We want to say happy birthday to Jet, Aiden, and all the other kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday.
We do have 2 alert days in your forecast. One of those on Sunday, the next alert day coming into the picture on Tuesday. Both of those are for snow. We could see some light to moderate snow on Sunday, bring a couple inches of accumulation, but then heavy snow is possible on Tuesday. If this materializes, we could see several inches of accumulation. So we're going to be watching that closely. In the meantime, the bigger story has been the colder temperatures, but we are getting better out there. Right now we're at -2 here in Madison. Winds out of the north and northwest at 3 miles per hour as we speak. Now temperatures are still fairly cold around us. Otherwise, some of us are starting to make it above zero. Janesville at 3 right now, so that's good news for our friends there. But still -15 in Camp Douglas, 25 below zero as you work your way up towards Black River Falls. But folks, as we go through the next 12 hours, things do get a lot better for us. We are talking highs right around 17 degrees as we move into the afternoon. But this Arctic high is essentially going to stay in control of our weather, allowing that cold air to move in out of Canada. It moderates a little bit as we move down south, but still, nonetheless, things are going to be fairly cool for them. But in the meantime, we are watching 2 regions of low pressure. This is leading to a winter storm across the west coast, which oddly enough is not a region that is highly expected to see winter storms. But nonetheless, that's what they're getting in on because we have a lot of cold air being supplied down from Canada. Now that's going to force these regions of low pressure to track towards the south and then track back towards the north, towards the Great Lakes. That's a storm track, folks, that often brings winter weather for us here in Wisconsin. So we're going to be watching that closely, especially as we go into next week. But we do have a light snow chance coming up for tomorrow as well. In fact, let's take you hour by hour. Temperatures below zero right now. As we head into the afternoon, expect those temperatures to make it all the way back into the teens for those highs. But here we are at 7:30 on Sunday morning. The first appearances of light snow could be showing up across parts of the region. Then we get you towards noon and into the early afternoon. That's when the heaviest snow will likely overspread us. So most of the snow will fall during the daytime tomorrow. That gets out of here by tomorrow night. So it's going to be very quick moving, but with the colder temperatures, that will be an efficient snowmaker. Then we're going to pay attention to Monday afternoon, snow moving in from the south, lasting through Tuesday, along with the possibility of sleet and freezing rain going back over to heavy snow before wrapping up as we go through Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. So folks, it's certainly going to be a busy period of weather around here, but of course, we will keep you up to date on all of the latest alert days for Sunday, alert days for Tuesday as well. Valentine's Day, we get a little bit of a break before another system could arrive as we go towards next weekend.
I think Mother Nature wanted you to have a big winter in Wisconsin for your first one here.
Mother Nature went from 0 to 100 real quick, so we will see when things begin to slow down.
All right, thank you. Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Dorothy emailed us this picture. Check that out. That's a beautiful shot right there. Oh, yeah. Dorothy, thank you so much for sharing. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 social media pages using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. It is 5:51 right now, and there's a full hour of more local news ahead at 8. Then tomorrow morning, starting at 6:30, we'll have some Valentine's Day gift ideas, perfect for your significant other, your family, friends, or why not yourself? How about that? But first on our news this morning, it's all love for these tennis players. We'll show you the unique setting they're learning and a whole lot more, too, when News 3 Now This Morning Saturday continues. Welcome back at 5:55. If you play tennis, you know love technically means 0, and that's not exactly the score you want when playing the game.
But it's exactly what these players to the south of us are scoring, as David Axelrod reports they are very happy about it.
At this pop-up tennis court on the Mexican-U.S. border, 13-year-old Marilu Portillo is practicing her forehand in the shadow of a wall.
When I look behind me, I see the border wall and all the wire they just put, and that makes me feel kind of sad.
She's part of an after-school program that teaches tennis in Nogales, Arizona, and on the other side of the border in Nogales, Mexico. Charlie Cutler is a tennis pro who started the Border Youth Tennis Exchange, or BITE. Throughout the year, he brings 150 kids from both sides of the border together to play tennis.
Border communities are not scary places. Border residents are the same as anyone else. A kid learning to play tennis in Mexico looks exactly the same as a kid learning to play tennis in Arizona.
Carolina Iniguez is from Mexico. Esteban Alvarez is from Arizona.
I probably would never have met this person if I hadn't have done this event, so doing this event kind of gives me a new perspective on life here.
They are building a new friendship, one volley at a time.
We can be just friends, and we aren't enemies just because we are from different places.
If the idea of a wall is to separate, these kids manage to render it useless.
People across the border are no different. They're not bad people. We're all the same, and we could be friends and have fun.
Score it love, love on this court, and that means they're all winning.
For CBS, I'm Jim Axelrod.
Great story there, and with as big as this new studio is, I feel like we could have a tennis match in here.
Yeah, we probably really could. We just got to make sure we don't break anything.
There you go.
That'd be good. All this new stuff here. But folks, we are breaking a record of how many times we have told you about cold and snow. Let's just keep it going. More snow moving in on Sunday. We're also watching more chances for snow on Tuesday into Wednesday as well, in a very active pattern that we have ahead. More snow possible as we go towards the end of Valentine's Day and towards next weekend, folks. So buckle up. We have got a wild ride of weather ahead. There are going to be some temperature ups and downs as well.
All right. Thanks for joining us this morning. CBS This Morning Saturday is next, and join us for more local news coming up at 8 o'clock. Make it a great morning.